let's discuss the Caroline situation. I've already made a video about episode 9, but I want to get your feedback on this because this was a lot. If you haven't watched Big Brother episode 9 yet, and you don't want any spoilers and somehow you've managed to avoid it on TikTok so far, skip this video and then come back after you've watched it because you need to have the live action reaction. Somebody sent me a DM the day asking if I knew what Caroline said, and then they sent me the clip of her getting called to the diary room. So I was just like, it's got to be something stupid, talking about nominations or whatever. This is the last thing I was expecting. Caroline has spoke about how she's isolated herself away from people for quite some time, the same as Mickey Rourke did in the celebrity one this year. And when she was talking to Tasia, she was saying, I was just having fun and I was coming up with this civilization in my mind and I was having the time of my life, and like she was getting carried away or whatever, right? And okay. And she was drunk, right? Like, I mean, we can use all these excuses, we can pile them up, but it still doesn't add up. First of all, when she says to Zelah, if you had a cock, what would you do with it? And I wasn't really that shocked about her asking him that. I was more shocked at the fact that he doesn't have one, because I just assumed that he did. So fair Shula's face said all. She was looking at her like, bitch, what the fuck did you just say? And she's kind of giving her the look like, mm-mm. So then, what she asked Nancy, I didn't think was that bad, because she didn't know that she was pansexual, and I actually don't even think that she knows what pansexual is. But she was talking about if you had to have sex with somebody to make babies, right, to like repopulate the world. But then when she says, oh, she's pansexual, and she was like, oh, you fancy pans? Okay, it was a stupid thing to say, right? But it wasn't that hurtful, and I don't know if Nancy was crying because she made that stupid comment or because she felt responsible for what she then said to Zelah. I didn't really understand what Nancy was greeting for. But anyway, it's not even about her. So when Nancy says that she would have slept with Zelah, and Caroline says, but she's a girl, I nearly fucking fell off my bed. I was taking notes, my pen went flying. I was in shock, right? I messaged everybody that I know that watches it. I was like, are you watching Big Brother? Are you watching Big Brother? Are you watching Big Brother? It was actually like fucking somebody just punched me in the face. Even Tate, Cameron B and Cameron K were like, oh my fucking god, man. Oh my god. Now if that wasn't bad enough, she then went, oh, was that bad? Oh, was that bad? Aye, it was fucking bad. Not only was it bad, it's one of the worst things I've ever witnessed on Big Brother. I've seen somebody getting bent over a tabletop with a cutting device held up to them. I've seen an underage person going into the diary room and asking for the morning after pill. I've seen somebody lying in the garden with their legs up in the air, inserting a bottle. I've seen a man smack a woman in the face. Does anybody remember that guy who was in the house who wanted to be a politician, and there was a gay guy who kept like insinuating that he was gay, and it was upsetting him, and then he ended up getting chucked out? We witnessed somebody pee in the bin. We've seen all these things over the many years, and this is the worst thing that I can think of that I've ever seen on Big Brother. My friend took a live action picture when it happened because he knew that she was going to say something, but he didn't know what she was going to say, and he took a picture, and I can't show it because he won't let me show his picture on TikTok because he'll think it's cringe, but it's actually hilarious. And when I was on the phone to him after it, he said, oh my god, I wish that you could see behind the scenes. Imagine the people watching the cameras, imagine the producers, like, they all would have been up running round. And I thought, oh my god, that would have been fucking crazy to see that. Like, imagine them watching that in the Late and Live studio, because they sit and watch that. I wish it just showed you all their reactions. And when it went on to Late and Live, Will was asking the guests, like, are you surprised by what Caroline said? And one of the guests says, well, no, she's friends with Nigel Farage. This is probably normal for her. David said, I'm not really surprised because It's the way she said it. She didn't stutter. She didn't like stumble her words. It came out, it was direct. And that's the thing as well, like when she was out in the garden with Tasia and she was saying, oh, I would never say something like that in a million years. Like, why did that come out my mouth? It did seem as if it was something that she would have said, because it was just so fucking insane. Like, for example, I would never use the N word, the R word, or any like racial slurs, right? So see, no matter how steaming I was, or no matter how much I fucking hated somebody, if I was in the house and I was arguing with somebody, none of the words would come out my mouth because they're just not in my vocabulary. I don't ever think to say them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll fucking call you a cunt bag, a skis bag, or whatever else. But there's certain things that you just wouldn't say. And what I don't understand as well is, like, Zelah was already talking about feeling paranoid, that his voice was still quite feminine. It doesn't sound feminine, it doesn't look feminine. Like, I'll say he's pretty, but I say that about men, right? Like, to me, I prefer a man who I prefer men who look feminine, but I don't think that he looks like a feminine man, but I do think he's pretty. Most of the house was in the bathroom, comforting him and saying, like, it's going to be alright, like, your feelings are valid. Like, even Cameron K, like, as they said on Late and Live, he doesn't have gay friends, he doesn't, like, interact with transgender people, and he said himself that where he comes from, people don't accept stuff like that. And he has tried to be, like, understanding and ask the questions and try not to offend people, and he's doing his best, right? Caroline is in the world of show business, so she has interacted with many gay transgender people and all that, so she should know better. And when she says, oh, was that bad, right, like, I just thought, Caroline, stop. Then, when she was called into the diary room and Big Brother was reading it out and she's covering her face, it was getting worse, because Big Brother saying, if you had to shag somebody, like, see when Big Brother swears or whatever, it's serious, but it's also funny because it's like, oh my god, Big Brother's swearing, right? As he was reading it out, saying it word for word, and she was cringing into the chair, I was cringing into my bed. I was like, oh my god, I can't fucking watch this. I already know what was said, and I was there, and I seen it, and I witnessed it, and oh my god, I can't even take this. Oh my god. Right, so here is where I ask the question. Do you think that that's something that Caroline would usually say? Do you think she really felt as bad as she was making out? Why do you think George and Richard didn't go in to comfort Zelah? I personally think it was because they didn't want to make it like, oh, let's everybody go into the bathroom. Do you know what I mean? Let's everybody, like, make it this big massive thing, like. And then George was trying to comfort Caroline as well. And then when she says it was really bad, and George says it was bad, like, he was just honest with her about it. After my friend says that they would have liked to have seen behind the scenes, I just keep thinking about it now, like, in that camera room, in the Late and Live studio, like, the producers watching it, Zelah's girlfriend watching it. Like, holy fuck, man. It's crazy. And the other thing that surprised me is the fact that when she says, oh, if you had a cock, what would you do with it? I just thought he had one. You know, I never doubted it for a second. But this was meant to be a quick, like, 2-minute video. But it's just a lot to process. Fuck knows how his friends and family's feeling. Fuck knows how he's feeling. Let me know what you think. Bye.